Welcome back to The Boys in the Iceberg, the podcast where we watch The Legend of Korra. As always, I'm Caleb Bader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
And it's good to be back, Harley. We've taken about 3 or 4 months off at this point.
We just sat down one day and we recorded all the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, but now this is just about as live as it could be. And what a great week to come back on, because we got some excellent, 2 great episodes to come back to. I loved them.
I liked them.
They
were 2 wildly different episodes.
They were great.
No.
Okay, so we got the original Airbenders and the Terror Within.
I personally enjoyed the Terror Within better.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was better.
Just because the original Airbenders felt like fluff, because I think that's all it was.
Yeah, because it had nothing to do with that plot.
But then the Terror Within actually bled into the actual storyline, because you got Zahir back again. And with it being so long since I've watched his episodes,
about 3 or 4 months.
And this season in general, yeah, I really actually missed Zahir. I forgot how much I missed Zahir. But anyways, let's get on with the overview for the original Airbenders. So Tenzin's attempt to train the new air members of the Air Nation meet with little success. Things become more complicated for the airbending master as Jinora, beginning to exercise her independence at Kai's advising, demands her airbending tattoos. When a group of bison rustlers kidnap Kai and Jinora, along with several bison calves, the new airbenders are forced to put their abilities to the test. And that's literally it. We don't even need to talk about this episode, Caleb, because that's the extent of the episode. Nothing exciting happens.
Since it's been about 5 or 6 months since we've actually talked about the episodes, I feel like that we should actually talk about this one. Because, I mean, after such a long break of about 6 or 7 months, it's probably good to get back into it. So yeah, this one doesn't have that much to do with the actual story. It is a filler episode just to give us a little bit more Boomy, Tenzin, Jinora, which I think this is mostly about her. I think it's her and Boomy really, but then also Tenzin, a little bit of Kai, the guy who gets his head shaved,
A bald guy,
yeah,
who becomes a staple in this episode.
Yes, and I enjoyed him. I actually thought the comedy in this episode hit pretty well.
But that's all this episode was just comedy. It was like the Thor Ragnarok of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you will. It was...
Which we haven't got to talk about because...
just comedy.
7 or 8 months ago, it hadn't come out when we last recorded.
Yeah, so...
It was good. Okay, so, yeah, this episode, I really did like the overall, the humor of it. More so than any other episode we watched so far. I think it really worked. Milo was actually bearable.
Yeah, we didn't hate... Milo wasn't fart jokes and burp jokes and snot jokes this entire episode. He didn't do that at all, actually. He was just...
He was more
demanding.
like the little bossy, overconfident, like 3-year-old
funny.
that you all know.
That's comedy.
That you all have in your life.
That's good comedy.
Yeah, and it worked. And Tenzin got a little bit overzealous about his airbending culture stuff, as he is wont to do. Boomy was silly. Jinora actually, I think, changed the most or had the best arc, because it turns out that Kai's kind of manipulating her mind a little bit, I think, because I don't think that she really cared.
Do you think
before he brought it up.
Do you think Kai has his own agenda?
I think so. I think he's going to steal everything.
I think he's going to steal Janora's heart.
Oh, good one.
Thank you.
Okay. But I digress. So Kai brings it up that Jinora is just as good as Tenzin is in everything. And she can also spirit bend or whatever they call that now.
I don't think she's as good.
No, she's definitely not. Not even close.
No, she's not, because Tenzin is an actual master, and he's been doing it for decades.
Well, because Janora's about the same age as Aang, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and Aang was the only one out of his group to have the tattoos, right?
Yeah.
Because he was so far advanced because he was the Avatar.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a little early in Janora's training to be like, oh, you're a full-fledged master now.
But she does have the ability to converse with spirits.
That's true. But
that was a good argument. But
I don't think that's an airbender thing, though. That doesn't make you an airbender master.
But saying that you're better than your father at bending, she's not.
He's been doing it for 70, 80 years now.
How
old is he?
At least 90.
He looks really old.
But even if she is better than him, we have yet to see that on the screen, which is a thing that we should have. It's an old film thing. Show, don't tell. Okay, if you're going to tell us something, also show it, or just show it to us. I love visual storytelling. I think it's a good thing to do. We were talking about that earlier, but I think We haven't seen it. We haven't seen her be better than her father yet. So.
No, not really, except for the spirit thing.
So that's why we're being led to believe that Kai is manipulating her.
Okay, but this episode starts out with Tenzin not having any luck in captivating his students, the new Airbenders, as opposed to the original Airbenders.
Well, he's also never had to lead anybody. Like, he's always just been a father, and in my opinion, a lousy father, because 1 out of 3 is not good odds. Ikki's awful, and Milo's awful. But here's hope for the Rohirrim, or whatever his name is.
Rohan.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because Tenzin starts going, he talks to Korra, like the only time Korra's in this episode is to give Tenzin some advice. And they're on a radio, and she's just talking to him. But she says, talk to Boomy, and he'll teach you how to be a leader, because he's an army guy.
What's that line she says, though? She's like, I'm really good at
de-escalating
conflict, something like that?
Yeah, no, she's not. You're not good at de-escalating, Korra.
That's what you do.
You start conflicts.
You start conflicts. She's like, that's what I'm here for, the de-escalate conflicts. I'm like, no, every conflict that you've ever been a part of has gotten worse because of you.
Yeah, she has no expertise in this realm whatsoever.
Which is, again, one of the reasons why I don't necessarily like her as an avatar. Like, I think Yoshi would have been a better avatar to see, because she just looked...
I agree that Yoshi, Mario's green lizard friend, would have been a better avatar.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, yeah, and remember how we're going to mess up all the names in this episode that we completely forgot about?
We just didn't do it. That was our thing that we were going to do, but we didn't.
Yeah, no, you guys will never hear that. Never. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you guys will never hear that. That's lost to all of us. But Tenzin does take Korra's advice and goes to Boomy and is like, "Hey, Boomy, what do I do here? Because I'm not very good. Help me be more like you, Boomy." And he's kind of like stroking his ego a little bit.
You know what that reminded me of? That awful Emperor's New Groove sequel, Kronk's New Groove. Where Yzma gets
the
up and
clip
sings
show
that,
episode where it's like
sings
5 different scenes.
Yes, where she gets up and sings that song, "Help me to help you to help them." And
She's
part cat.
Yzma?
Yzma. I watched that movie so many times
because you had it. I remember you had it on DVD.
Yeah.
And we watched it in your van.
Well, because I never got the Emperor's New Groove on DVD, and I was always frustrated about that. And I found it at Sears for $5 in like this $5
nice.
bin, and I never bought it. But that's the last time I ever have seen Emperor's New Groove, for lack of a better word, on the shelf at a store.
Oh,
because
that's true. You don't see it that much.
You don't.
It's not with like the Disney stuff.
No. Which I think that whole...
Is that because it's set in South America? Is it some sort of race thing?
What? Like, we never see that weird moment that Disney went through with like Atlantis or like Lilo and Stitch or Brother... we kind of see
Lilo and
we
Stitch.
See a little bit of Brother Bear, but like Emperor's New Groove's kind of pushed under the rug, which is weird because I think they kind of have like a cult following.
I think that Disney was going sort of in a DreamWorks style direction with Atlantis, especially. That feels like a DreamWorks movie to me.
Does it?
More so than anything else.
I guess you could plop the DreamWorks logo on there and it wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. It doesn't stick out to me like, oh, that's a Disney movie.
It doesn't. But Disney was going through a weird moment back then. Like, that was...
Do you think it's because of the songs? That there weren't, like, really songs?
Maybe.
I mean, because
Emperor's New Groove had the
songs,
introduction song. That was about it.
Yeah, but there wasn't... I think there was like a... Did they sang Happy Birthday? That one song. That counts,
that
right?
Happy Birthday song.
And then there was a song at the end, but other than that, in Atlantis, it's not a musical.
Well, that's what I loved about Lilo and Stitch. Like, there was like that montage with the Elvis song, but that wasn't really...
Huh.
There were no...
I never thought about that.
And that was that whole series. It was like the early 2000s, right after the Disney's golden age.
But you still see Lilo and Stitch. That's still up there with your like Disney movie. When you think Disney, you think Lilo and Stitch.
Do you think Lilo and Stitch?
Oh yeah, definitely. Or I think people do, at least.
I think people more our age do, because we had Lilo and Stitch and we had Lilo and Stitch the series.
I never watched it. Well, I kind of did. It was like
arguably
Stitch's cousins or something like that.
It showed because he was experiment 626, and they showed the other 625 experiments they had to go chase down. Which honestly, I liked.
Yeah,
I personally liked that.
I remember
that was a fun journey
of it.
And they made like 3 or 4 Lilo and Stitch spin-off movies
that probably weren't good.
Which, I kind of enjoyed a couple of them, but they were all right. But Emperor's New Groove got that really crappy sequel that was called Kronk's New Groove.
Well, I remember
that was basically a clip show.
We used to have Cinderella 2, which was the same thing. They just had a whole bunch of different scenes.
Yes.
There was one with like the stepsisters, how they like gave a makeover or something. I don't know.
If you want to talk about very vague sequels for really awesome movies.
Well, I don't really, but
You don't really, but we're gonna for a second. Cinderella 3 was actually good.
I don't know what that is.
But it's really stupid. But you had movies like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then they came out with Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, and they had to give Quasimodo a love interest for some reason, and it was really creepy. And then they had really good movies, like you had I just lost my entire train of thought with that. Cinderella 3, Hunchback of Notre Dame. You had Fox and the Hound 2, and then you
I don't
had
remember.
well, Fox and the Hound. When did Fox and the Hound come out? It's been decades.
Yeah, it was
right?
really old.
And then in the early 2000s, we're like, this movie needs a sequel. Let's get some money on that. And then they had movies.
Didn't the dog find his parents or something like that?
Something like that. It was really bad.
Yeah,
but it was a musical. They turned that into the musical. They tried to capitalize on Fox and the Hound, and they tried to capitalize on the Disney Renaissance. It was really bad. And then like the Cinderella one, it had been like what? When did Cinderella come out? Was it the 60s or 70s? It's a really old film, but they did a Snow White sequel, I think, which was their first animated
I think I remember
film.
the Snow White sequel.
And then they did a Cinderella sequel. They're like, hey, it's been like 30 plus years. Let's do a sequel, which is crazy to me. Like, I don't get that. And then they're
big properties.
They were straight to VHS. So
of course.
They were all, but hey, I will say the Aladdin sequels are solid. I will say that
Aladdin.
They got Robin Williams to come back for the
his
genie.
father was Sinbad, right?
Something like that, yeah.
I remember The Cave, Open Sesame, or something
yes,
like that.
but those two movies were really good. The Quasimodo one wasn't good. Cinderella 3 was good. Cinderella 2 was not good. And then so on and so forth. Tarzan and Jane was like a clip show. It got really weird. But anyways, back to Korra.
Yeah, back to Korra. We always go on these
well, because clearly we hate talking about Korra. We want to get off on other tangents.
Yeah, so Tenzin takes Korra's advice, and he takes Bumi's advice thereto after for, and he whips the troops into shape, as Bumi said. Build them up so you can break them down so you can build them back up.
Build them up, tear up all your hard work, and destroy them.
So he goes full army sergeant and is getting them up at the crack of dawn, making them go on a 10-mile hike, then meditate.
It's very reminiscent of R. Lee Ermey's in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, I have not seen Full Metal Jacket.
You've never seen Full Metal Jacket?
No, we don't need to talk about it.
Let's get off on tangent number 2, shall we?
So he makes them go on a 10-mile hike, and then they meditate, and then they have to hike back, and then they go on an obstacle course. And Bumi is not having it, even though it was his idea.
He's also 1,000 years old, though.
Yeah,
his body's still not into it.
Because he's older than Tenzin, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the oldest.
Yeah,
because we remember Aang tried to the stories they told at least that Aang tried to get into Airbend, and he just didn't.
He threw him off a cliff one time. See if he
he
gave him a glider and threw him off a cliff.
Yeah, go.
So wait, can people with gliders and that are not Airbenders glide?
I think you can still glide.
Yeah,
like a glider suit.
Yeah,
they're not Airbenders. That's our real life. That's our universe.
So why doesn't everybody have gliders?
I don't know.
Right?
Just give gliders out.
Yeah, I mean,
why doesn't everybody here have glider suits? Do you have a glider suit I don't know about?
No, but I feel like this is like a easier technology. You don't have to put on a whole suit, and they also don't have the technology that we have. They have airships, but that's not really. I mean, this is just like basics flying around stuff. I feel like.
I'll take it. Whatever.
Yeah. So Bumi ends up quitting, or something, because he gets knocked off of a cliff. I don't remember. And then Tenzin gets fed up with everybody because they don't want to do what he says anymore. So he makes Jinora like go take over, but she doesn't want to because he won't make her a master. So she takes off with Kai, who has been like whispering in her ear like Emperor Palpatine the entire time. You got nothing to say?
Nothing to say. No.
I literally just said Emperor Palpatine on the podcast, and you don't have a single thing to say?
Ironic.
Do you have the entire speech queued up? That'd be great.
He could save others.
Okay, so yeah, Kai and Jinora head off with a teensy, angsty little.
No, I like Teensy. Like
Teensy.
Teen angsty.
Teensy and angsty and like a tirade. Is that the right word?
We'll go with that. Yeah, all of those words were the right words in my opinion.
But they go off to find the bison, The wild herds of bison.
Because apparently the wilds of the air temples are just teeming with herds of bison, and they talk about a herd of bison that flies around, and Kai goes, "Hey, when are we gonna get our own bison?" And Hinton goes, "Oh, those are wild bison. It'll take you like 10 years to tame those." And then I'm like, "No,
Yeah, and
No.
they tame them later, and it doesn't take 10 years.
that's so dumb."
I guess they don't technically tame them, but
They befriend them,
But-
like that movie Alpha
so
with the dog.
like with the baby bisons, how did they do that back in Aang's day? Because everybody got one, right?
Basically, yeah.
Were they already like kind of tame? How long did it take to tame them?
I think they were domesticated, and they bred them domesticatedly,
And then they had to tame that's why you got it when you were young, so
Yeah.
you tamed it as you grew
as
up.
opposed to getting a wolf out in the wild, as opposed to having your neighbor's puppy, like when the neighbor's dog has puppies.
But they don't have any like reserves of bison stored up for the new Airbenders.
I don't
Well, I
know.
guess they wouldn't because
Because they didn't plan on that.
no, but they've been having kids like crazy. They've got 4
That's
kids.
true.
now.
He's pumping out kids, man. Like,
Yeah.
he's going hard.
He's got another one on the way. He doesn't have a bison for him. Wow, terrible father.
I told you earlier he's not a good father, man. Come on.
Okay, so Kai and Janora flew off, and they run across the herd of bison that they seen earlier, but they also what do they see? What do they run into?
They run into the bison, but I can't remember what happens. But
Yeah.
they get captured by those.
So I think what they do is they go and find the bison, and it's like scared or something, or do they actually see someone with a net? Point is, there's like poachers that are coming to get these bison.
they just get randomly shot by a net.
Yes,
That's what happens.
Yeah, and so these poachers have captured them, and they've got like the baby bison in cages on the back of this truck because apparently the Earth Queen and her friends like to eat baby bison meat.
I dig that. I dig the idea that there's no problems going on in the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah,
And she's just like, I want experiences. And so she just goes and she wants to eat exotic meat. I mean, I would be with that.
and they even speculate in this episode that she had eaten her father's bear,
Which was the bear we saw.
but I don't understand
That
that
was their
because her father never returned to the Earth Kingdom, right?
Correct. Maybe.
And he had the bear with
At
him.
least what we saw.
So when was she born?
Who knows?
Because he didn't have a family in Avatar, did he?
Maybe that's what happened. He went out, knocked out some random lady, and then came back and declared royalty.
No, because it says specifically in Avatar that they never heard from again or something like that, or that he never returned to the Earth Kingdom.
Really?
I remember that.
But what about in between Avatar and Korra?
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that this is coming from a place of omniscience because they state definitively that he never returned. So I don't.
Continuity errors.
Yes, maybe that's in the continuity errors. Shall we check?
There are no continuity errors.
It does not look. Nope, it doesn't say anything about it. Okay, and also we get to see like the main poacher guy.
Ganbat.
Is his name Ganbat?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so Ganbat is wearing a cape that looks eerily reminiscent to the fur of a baby bison.
I love that because it doesn't.
Yeah,
look
it's
like
cool.
It doesn't look like just the fur of it. The way it's shaped looks like the tail.
No,
So-
it's not the tail.
No, the way it's shaped looks like a tail. It does.
but
The
it's
way
not.
the arrows come down on it too.
It's not the bison's tail.
No, it doesn't.
It's its fur.
It might not be. But
It's its back.
the way it looks like is a tail, and I like the idea of him just being so vicious that he cut the tail off of a baby bison and now uses it as a cape.
I think it's just its pelt though, which I think is even more gruesome.
There's a skinned baby bison somewhere
Yeah.
still alive.
Without its skin,
It's just like
how could you be so cruel to skin that bison just for its fur?
it's just terrorized for the rest of its life. It goes around just eating other bison. It's so scarred.
What? It turns cannibalistic.
It's
but
lost
yeah,
its mind.
yeah. So in case you needed to know that this guy's not a good dude, he also kills baby bison just for their fur,
Yeah.
or maybe not. No, actually, not just for their fur. He gives the meat to the Earth Queen. So I guess it's
a business.
conservationist.
It's a business. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
And
just a
there's-
guy.
There's plenty of bison around, so it's not a bad thing. It's just that we've seen.
No, they're endangered. They say that. in
That's
this
fine. I don't
episode.
care. There's plenty of bison around.
They're like whale hunters.
We've seen so many bison, though.
That's true. There are a bunch of bison.
Yeah,
that
and
leads
they
me
ju-
to believe.
They just come back all of a sudden. Like,
So how long is like the gestation period of a bison?
I don't know, because we just had one with Appa, and we didn't really have any anywhere else. And all of a sudden, in this series, we have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't take very long for Bison to be unendangered.
Well,
I
and
don't know.
those little babies, they said were only 2 weeks old because they weren't able to fly.
Maybe he's doing good. He's population control.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like hunting deer. We're allowed to do that because there's so many deer
There's
about.
a bunch of deer.
Would you want Bison just running out in front of your car one day and getting hit by one? No.
I wouldn't.
Population control. Ganbat, good dude.
Ganbat. Okay.
Dumb name,
So,
good dude.
Yeah, at this point, they decide to put Kai and Janora in the cages with the baby bison for some reason, instead of just like tying them up and leaving them there. What are they going to do with them?
Maybe the Earth Queen hasn't had the taste of human flesh yet.
No, she definitely has. Are you kidding me? Did you see her?
True. She's eaten plenty of airbending
She's
kids.
eaten just about anything.
Maybe
Well,
she ate the airbending
maybe-
legion when they got out of order. She just would eat
What
one of them.
airbending legion?
The legion that she had under their
Oh, you're
under
talking
the
about
temple.
yeah, the new airbenders. She just ate one. She's like, I've never tried airbender before. But does that taste as good as
Earthbender?
like a born airbender? Because they were turned.
I don't know.
That's like
And she's never had naturally born Earthbender.
no,
before,
she's
though.
eaten plenty of like the turned airbenders, but
we gonna-
never
So we're gonna call these turn airbenders or faux airbenders?
faux airbenders. No, they're real airbenders.
Yeah, but they're like artificial airbenders, like the oogies of the bison.
How do you know Oogie's an artificial?
Look at the way he looks compared to Appa.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's come up with what are we going to call these new airbenders? New airbenders.
New airbenders. Why not? Let's go with that.
Okay, yeah. So the new airbenders, they don't taste the same. Or I'm speculating, they don't taste the same as original airbenders, ones that were born airbenders.
So we're saying like OG, like Aang airbenders, like
Yeah,
Monkey Yatso.
definitely. Or like a
Like
Janora, which is what I'm assuming they're going to take her to, the Earth Queen. So
they're going to eat Janora.
She's a delicacy.
Okay, so maybe she has one of each. She has a Janora and a Kai. She has
That's
a new
true.
airbender and an OG airbender. So she could eat both
They're
and
gonna-
taste them side by side.
Yep, taste
Get a
test.
little sampling.
Well, you got to get like a sorbet or like a palate cleanser in between so you don't mix up the flavors.
Would you eat those by themselves? Would you marinate them? Would you fondue them? How would you eat? How would
Well,
you like your airbender, Caleb?
I would say there's probably enough meat on there for multiple dishes. You think?
So different ways.
I
Like
don't
one
know,
with, one with
Janora's
a
kinda
white
skinny,
wine, one with
though.
a red wine,
Well, I don't know what the wine selection is, but yeah, maybe like a rosé
maybe.
or a merlot, or something like
I do
that.
love a good rosé.
And it depends on what your what your other options are, like if it's or how it's cooked, really.
Honestly, if you want to tell you, I would to cook my airbender. Since you said she's not very big, I'd put her in a kettle, and I would boil her.
Oh, or you just like slow cook, like a
Slow
roast.
cook it like a roast.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
it's
Yeah,
fall off the bone.
yeah.
I think
That's
that's
a pretty big kettle,
I
or like
think-
a what is it?
That's like
do
a
they-
Hansel and Gretel
Do
kettle.
they have crock pots in this world? They have electricity now, but
They might. I don't
you
know.
just let that sit overnight and get real nice and tender.
Yeah,
I'd
And
say
then
so.
I think I'd take it. I think. I'd
But
full
would you
boil 'em.
do Kai the same way? I mean, because you have two airbenders now. Would you compare them, or would you try to get as many different tastes out of them as possible?
I would do both. I would split them into different categories, but then cook them all the same way. Like I would cook Kai and Janora. This is absurd. First of all, I would cook Kai and Janora, slow roast part of them, and then I would fry part of them. And then
Would you?
Yeah,
Did
I
they
would-
fry things in this
maybe
universe?
perhaps I don't know.
I don't think we've ever seen
But
it.
then I'd
Oh,
would
you
cook.
could get some cooks from all the different nations and get like some spicy airbender
Yeah.
from like the Fire Nation.
already have the meat package, so they're not questioning why.
That's another
this
question.
is a human boy.
So that's another question: is how long does it take for airbender meat to spoil? Is it longer? You think does it keep? Is what I'm asking.
Do they have a type of cryo over there in this universe?
I don't know. Maybe they get some water benders. They can freeze things. I'm sure
They
she
might
has,
have freezers. They might have discovered that with water bending and
and they
being able to freeze
also
stuff.
they have electricity.
Yeah.
So maybe
They might just.
I don't know. But
This has got me curious. So do earthbenders taste different?
well, I would
firebenders.
assume so.
And like the sub bending, like if you're just mainly like sandbender, like would that taste different?
It'd be like a little grainy. The meat would be like coarse. I would say they probably got sand ingrained in their skin or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I think we're gonna have to get some and try it out.
Well, all right, order me some sandbenders.
Okay.
Get on Zanzibar. Let's do this.
Gosh dang it, this is ridiculous. Okay, so they have Janora and Kai ready to be shipped off to the Earth Queen. But then Boomy, the little spirit that Boomy has, Boomju, which is the dumbest name feasible, informs him that they have been taken. And so this is a rallying call to Boomy. He now knows he has to bring the team together.
And luckily for him, they're all out in one single garden. So
Yeah, they're all sitting around the
they're
same
not
place.
separated.
So he just runs up and stands on a rock and screams at him.
And then they all rally to Janora's part, and they attack the
Because they get on
killers.
Bison,
Poachers.
which was the whole like crux of the episode. Is like, when are we going to get on Bison? They have 2 bison there that they all load up onto and fly across the world.
Do you think they have tame bison?
Obviously,
on back order.
What do you mean on back order? What is
Like
that?
in the back stable somewhere, they have tame bison that they just keep.
Well, they had 2 of them at least.
So those were not wild bison.
No, I wonder if the acolytes get any bison.
That'd be cool.
Do they have to share bison because they're not full-fledged airbenders?
Maybe because the acolytes. I'm assuming Tenzin and the gang are like treated like royalty, and they don't do anything. I'm assuming that the acolytes are like servants basically. But
Which seems kind of weird.
I'm assuming that's what they are, and so maybe they're not necessarily like slave servants. They're just servants.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I gave you an appa, and you go to the town and get me some groceries.
Yeah, see, I feel like that the
me.
acolytes should have bison over the airbenders because the airbenders can fly with their, like, perpetually they can fly with airbending and their gliders. Acolytes cannot whatsoever fly.
Well, that's what we discussed earlier in the episode, which you disagree with me on. I'm fine with that.
I don't think I disagree with you.
But I think you were saying it's just directly flying though, which it is.
Well,
I was comparing a glider to a bicycle and a bison to a car.
yeah.
But a bicycle takes actual effort. And I think with the glider, it takes actual effort to keep that afloat.
I don't think you
And
can
then
glide with it
with a bison, you're relying on a completely different thing.
You can glide with
Such as a
it.
car.
Glide with it without airbending, I think. But if you want to keep going,
Yeah, if you want to keep like going up and stuff like that, if you want to keep on
which
going forward,
I don't think it takes that much energy.
because you see them go up a lot. Like they take a lot of up. Like
Well, they have to, yeah.
the draft's not going to take you up. Like that's not how air currents work.
I think that's inconsequential amount of energy to
Occasionally
spin.
you're not going to see a bird glide. It's all the way from California to New York. You're going to see it flap its wing occasionally. So
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
I'm not sure why you would follow a bird that long, but you wouldn't see
I
it just
wouldn't.
glide the whole way.
I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Okay, so at this point, Tenzin finds out that how does he find out Janora's gone?
I think he's just flying past, and then 3 wild, the mothers of those bison fly past him and shake him down.
They're gonna go knock that truck off the road. Is what
Yeah.
they're gonna do.
And then
And they do.
whoops butt.
Yeah. So Tenzin goes down there, and Kai is chasing after.
Yeah, Kai whoops butt. Tenzin doesn't do anything.
Tenzin does eventually because he gets Kai. Because Kai, first of all, Boomy and them show up and they fight the poachers who are also earthbenders, and
then Gonbat escapes.
yes, he takes the truck which still has Janora in it. Kai has already gotten out at this point, and Kai glides up, and Raiders of the Lost Arks it, jumps into the truck and is fighting with the guy in the driver's seat. Looks like he's gonna get killed.
Which he did hold Kai down. Gonbat did hold Kai down. Stupid name still. But he did hold Kai down for a while. And I was watching Now You See Me Too, or more appropriately known as Now You Don't. And he was, at the beginning of it, Mark Ruffalo's kid, as a kid, is being pulled back by a grown man. This is like a 9-year-old kid. Pulled back by a grown man. And the kid's like, no, no, no. And the grown man's struggling with pulling this kid back.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever picked up a child. I have a nephew. I've picked him up plenty of times.
you can throw him across the room.
You could throw him across the room, man, and they couldn't stop you. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, this Kai should not have been a formidable force if he wasn't using airbending. This kid in Now You See Me Too should not have been a formidable force because he's literally a child.
Yeah, yeah. But Kai ends up getting the upper hand, and then he jumps out of the truck onto Tenzin's bison, and then the other bisons start hitting the truck. And then Tenzin whips around in front of the truck, and his bison uses the tail attack, maybe.
Tail slam, go.
Yeah, and that stops the truck with enough force to send Gonbat out of the window, but not to hurt Janora in any manner whatsoever.
You know, I did notice something while watching this episode about Gonbat, and I swear I'm not reading this, but Gonbat is seen wearing a seatbelt, though when the bison blasts his truck, he flies out of the vehicle.
Really? I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, it was weird to me. I figured, a seatbelt would stop him from doing that.
Maybe the seatbelt technology wasn't up to par.
As
in those
formidable
games.
as our seatbelts.
Yes, no.
It didn't keep you strapped in so you could die inside your
It
vehicle.
was just string.
That's all that it was. That'd be awful.
Yeah, so then they defeat Gonbat, and Tenzin comes around to say, he's like, hey, Jinora, even though you didn't do literally anything and we're just locked in a cage this entire time,
And we had to do all the work.
I think it's appropriate that maybe I'll think about making you an airbending master.
Even though you made me worried sick, and even more worried because you did this stupid stuff.
Yeah, even though you were very immature and ran off and got yourself
You're going to
captured.
get your way, because like we said before, I'm a terrible father, and I do not know how to properly give my kids motivation.
No, so that's everyone learned a lesson.
Except for Tenzin.
No, Tenzin learned a lesson to trust his daughter. Kai learned that you can't just be headstrong all the time. You gotta like go with the flow a little bit. I don't know, just something like that. Boomy learned that he's got to get in shape because he's very bad at the obstacle course. The bald-headed guy learned that, hey, maybe it's good to have bald head.
Because he dodged that net.
Yeah.
So maybe life teaches us
Maybe there's a
things.
reason that all the airbenders ever had bald heads. We did learn in this episode that it is a personal choice to shave your head. You don't have to do it.
True. But
Which-
that's the end of this episode, really. That's
Yeah. That's about it, I think. Great episode.
Yeah, both on our parts and their parts.
Okay, let's do some trivia. Boomy's antics during Tenzin's lecture mirrors that of Sokka when he attempted to shock Aang into the Avatar state in the Avatar state. He tried to shock Aang into the Avatar state in the episode The Avatar State by using Momo's head as his own.
He cut off Momo's head and put it on his shoulders. That's what happened in that episode.
Yes, and that's what happened in this episode.
They reused Momo's head.
Boomy cut off Icky's head and was using it to scare Sokka
That would,
or whatever
yes,
happened.
that's exactly what happened.
I don't even know what. Okay. Milo's mantra of leave no airbender behind reflects a line in the Soldier's Creed, which is most commonly quoted as leave no man behind. That's great. That's just quality trivia, right? That's just top notch.
That's interesting.
The mother Sky Bison, which charged at Kai, is similar in appearance to Appa's mother, particularly in that they both are missing the tips of their right horns. Is this Appa's mother, is what I have to ask.
Illuminati confirmed. Proceed.
This is the first episode in which Mako appears without any lines.
Thank God I hate Mako. Oh, wait, Mako the firebender guy?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind that. I like Mako.
Okay. Yeah, and with that solid start to the episode, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with the next episode. And we're back. Great break. Top 5 breaks, I think, of all time. We're going to have that list up for you here pretty soon at top5break.com. That's top5break.com. Harley, read us the intro for the next episode.
All right. This episode is The Terror Within. So as Opal leaves for the Northern Air Temple to start her airbending training, Zahir and his gang try to kidnap Korra and Zhao Fu. Although Korra's friends are able to save her following climactic fight, the group comes to suspect that someone inside Zhao Fu actively conspired to allow the Red Lotus to infiltrate the city.
Hey, we haven't got a confirmation of what this group's called yet. Please censor it.
No.
That's on the wiki.
So after an extensive investigation, Team Avatar discovers evidence that AY, Su Yin's trusted advisor, is the traitor. Upon realizing that they suspect him, AY flees the city using a bomb to cover his escape. That night, Su Yin gives them a jeep, and Team Avatar departs Zaofu, intending to hunt down AY.
Okay, so
Jeep makes its product placement known in this episode.
yeah, I wonder if Jeep had to pay for that, or is Jeep just a term? Okay, so in this episode, we're back onto the main story. We get to see more of what Korra's up to. Mako, Asami, Bolin, and Lin are still there. And at this point, Korra is just training with metal bending, and she's gotten pretty good at it. She's got one of those cords like Lin has.
Something like those cables that they have on their hips. They just fling at people, and she's
Yes.
actually at first she's getting her butt kicked by Su Yin's kid,
Because they've just been doing it longer.
And then it shows Bolin getting his butt kicked by Su Yin's other kid, and then it goes
Because
back
Bolin
to
Bolin still cannot metal bend whatsoever.
which is fine. Not everybody needs to metal bend.
I mean, that's pretty cool though.
Be your own man, bro. But then Korra gets the hang of it and whoops Suyin's kid.
Well, because she's the Avatar.
That's that. I mean, whatever.
And so we get to see that Bolin and Opal have they got a little thing going on now.
Well, they had a little thing going on in the last episode.
Yeah, but it wasn't set in stone. That was just like
they were making out or whatever.
No, that never happened. Did it? I don't remember.
I think they made out.
It's been a long 8 or 9 months.
I saw some tongue on tongue actually. Like that was what I saw.
I don't know. So they're sitting around and we find out that Opal is going to go ahead and leave. And she's going to go back to the Northern Air Temple to train with Tenzin, which couldn't she just wait like a little bit? And just wait
for them to leave?
Go with Korra?
Yeah, I don't know what separates her from the others. Why not just put Opal on the blimp with Korra and have them traipse around the rest of the Earth looking for airbenders and then go back to the Air Temple Island?
Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean,
that makes sense. Why is Opal so special?
Well, why is she not so special?
Just lump her in with the rest of the group.
Well, I think that would make her more special because right as it sits right now, she's just going to be taken back to the Northern Air Temple to be trained with everybody else.
Oh, I'm talking about like lump her in with the rest of the new airbenders.
Yeah, that's what
Are the rest of the new airbenders not just hanging onto the blimp with
No,
they're being shipped off individually.
That's what the entire last episode was them at the Northern Air Temple.
I don't care about the last episode.
Yeah, so Opal is going to leave in the morning, apparently, or something like that. And everything's looking up. Korra and them are going to head off to go find more airbenders. So they lock the place down for the night.
And everything is hunky-dory.
Until the 4 unnamed group of bad guys show up that we do not know whose name their organization is yet.
Definitely not the Red Lotus.
Gosh dang it. Yeah, so Zahir, Pli, Zondo, and Hachi show up.
Hachi, I dig it.
Yes, and they show up and they go straight to Korra. They're being really stealthy.
Isn't Hachi that dog movie?
Yeah, it is. With Richard Gere.
With Richard Gere.
Yes.
He's so old.
It was a very sad movie.
It was such a good one, though.
Uh-huh. What are those other 2 people's names? Zahir, Pli, what'd I say? Zongo and Hachi?
Might as well be.
Let's just go
It's
with
now
that.
Richard Gere and Hachi.
Yes. Okay, so they show up and they somehow got in the building even though it was locked down. And they head over to Korra's abode where Naga is laying at the foot of her bed. Which, how did she get in that room? Because the door was not wide enough.
Through the window.
That the window doesn't open.
It's made of earth.
What the glass is?
I don't know, Caleb.
Isn't glass melted sand?
I was thinking about this earlier when we saw Zuzubu.
Zongo?
That's the one. Cut open the window.
Or was it Hachi?
With her with her water arms. When I saw her do that, which was super cool, by the way.
It was pretty cool.
She created a cutting utensil out of the water, and she cut the glass, and then as soon as the glass, like those old spy movies, where they have a laser and they
they got like
and then they catch it or something, like they have a clamp or a clasp or a magnet or something like that.
It's usually a suction pad.
What happened this time was as soon as it fell, she encased the entire thing with water and caught it and pulled it back. I thought that was really neat. But anyways,
it was cool.
My thinking is a sandbender. Could a sandbender just disassemble that glass?
I don't know.
Like how a waterbender freezes water and creates ice. Do
So
you think a sandbender could use a few more techniques to create glass?
So is glass fundamentally different from sand once it's melted? Like, let's say
I don't know because
so if you melt earth, which is basically lava at that point, normal earthbenders can't bend that lava, right?
True, which is what subbending is. But
yes,
back to the sand question with the glass. When lightning strikes beaches, it turns into glass.
I understand that. No, I know how the glass is made. I'm saying that it being superheated, does that change its physical properties enough to where it cannot be bent anymore with rocks being melted with lava?
I don't know because I think it's a special thing because can't lava benders still bend the lava because they're lava benders?
I don't think so.
Like once it turns into lava, they can't bend it. Because
we didn't see it already.
We saw that guy create that thing and then spin it around and then throw it at somebody, didn't we?
Yeah, so he can create
he can
lava.
still manipulate it.
Well, no, but he's a lava bender. So what I'm saying, I don't know if he can.
That's like a subcategory of earthbending. Like sandbending is
no,
a subcategory.
I
I think
understand
I think
that.
only sandbenders.
So sandbending is already a subcategory. Is there another subcategory?
No, I think sandbenders, which is a subcategory of earthbenders. I think since they're so in tune to being able to bend sand, I think they have the ability to manipulate the sand in the glass and out of glass.
No, I don't think so because I think that the sand is fundamentally changed, making it unlike sand anymore, which is the same thing because I don't think regular regular earthbenders can't bend lava, can they?
No.
Yeah.
But
so it's the same
lava
thing.
benders can, which is the subbending.
Yes, that's fine. So you can have a glass bender then maybe, but sandbenders can't necessarily. Like so if you take an earthbender and then someone makes lava or there is lava, they can't just bend that even though it's still earth. It's a different thing.
But the lava bender is also an earthbender. So
yeah, that's fine. I just don't I think it's changed too much. Unless you have a glass bender. I don't think that you can do that.
If you just have a bender for everything, I hate this show already.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll never find out the answer. I feel no.
Unless we take over the next series and create it for ourselves.
Yes. Hit us up, Brian DiMartino. So after they show up, they knock Naga out with 3 poison darts, which has the what's it called? The Skrelin poison, Shrekly poison, whatever. The poison from June's beast thing that knocks you out, and then
because June's still alive because she's immortal.
No, she's
not in this episode actually.
And then they knock out Korra, and they're just going to steal her for some reason. They're just going to take her.
Yeah, what is their end game with Korra?
Maybe we'll find out.
We still don't know. And how many episodes are we into this season already?
I think we have 5 episodes left, so 8.
Yeah, so we found out what was it Tarlok or Tenzin Zog?
Which one are you talking about?
Season 2.
Unalaq?
Unalaq.
Okay.
So we found out his plan very early on. And we found out Amon's plan. We found his at like episode 1, basically. But
I think that all the new Airbenders kind of threw a hitch into the storytelling.
Good. We don't know Zahir's plan yet.
That's cool though.
I like
it. Yeah.
I like it a lot.
He's mysterious.
Yeah, and
he's a man of mystery.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I think he's my favorite villain so far.
Is that a line from the Emperor's New Groove?
Oh, he's
that's what
he's the coolest cat in creation.
Yeah, but is one of them man of mystery?
International. I don't know what he said.
I don't know because that's
of Mesoamerican history. I think they rhyme mystery with history.
Probably they have to, right? International man of mystery.
Because those are the only 2 words that rhyme ever.
Okay,
with history.
Yeah. So history, mystery, herstory. Because it's her story. Little feminist lingo for you there.
Take that.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Emperor's New Groove, Katara.
No,
Korra.
I'm talking about Korra.
Who?
Okay, so Zahir and the group, they are going to take Korra, apparently. And they almost get away with it. If it weren't for those stinking kids and their Pabu. Like the dog, too. Okay.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
That's good.
Or is it menacing kids?
Menacing we'll edit in a round of it's oh man, I had the word too.
What?
If it weren't for you meddling
kids. There it is. And your Pabu.
We'll add in a round of applause later in the editing.
Okay. Yeah. So Mako and Bolin are woken up by Pabu. Bolin thinks it's a false alarm at first, but then he sees 4 people carrying Korra, which he has great eyesight, by the way. I don't know if I would have been able to see
that. I'd have been like, it's just.
There's people walking around. I wouldn't be able to see them carrying Korra. But he wakes Mako up, and they run out there in their pajamas, and they meet up with Asami, who doesn't say anything in this episode.
Or do anything in this episode.
No, she's just there the entire time.
Which is another reason why I hate Asami. They don't do anything with her.
No, she literally, I think she says something in this episode, but it has no effect on anything.
At the beginning of this episode, she goes, guys, we need to get ready. Oh, yeah, because Opal's in this episode. She said, guys, we need to get cleaned up because Opal's about to leave or whatever. And so they have like a dinner with Opal, and Opal they make kale, and then Opal and Bolin have a moment about kale, and Bolin cries, and Mako's like, I can't hear nothing.
We already kind of talked about that part, though.
And Opal's story is over in this episode.
Yeah. So while Korra is being taken, Mako and Bolin run out there, and then everything hits the fan. and there's a giant battle ensuing because the guards were alerted, and it looks like they've kind of they back them into a corner, not really a corner, but they surround them.
They have them surrounded.
Yeah, I think at one point they go, "We have you surrounded," and they do.
They do. I do like the choreography in this scene because every time somebody attacks, there is a parry immediately or a block, and I really like on either side too. So like they attack the bad guys. Somebody they attack one of the bad guys, and that bad guy's not seeing it coming. Another one of the bad guys sees it coming and blocks it. And the same thing with the good guys, like what's her name, Pali, shoots her. Turns out she can move the her combustion thing that she has. With her.
She bends it around the corner,
and so she'll bend around a corner, and somebody like throw up over here while nobody's watching, and somebody will throw up a wall of metal, and it'll bounce. Off the metal.
And they're
I think
using
that's really cool.
They're using like those metal plates that they have in the ground and like in the training area as like shields. So and also like a cage, because at first they put a cage around them, and then he makes everything lava. So there's like a moat around them to where they can't get.
It is pretty cool. Like I do really like this scene. And then the Sue and Lynn are like, "Hey, we're gonna go up top on the dome, and we're gonna jump down from above, and we're gonna cable down, and we're gonna get Korra because again the bad guys still have Korra. So they're like, that's a good idea. Bolin, we need you to take a shot and please eyeball or third eyeball because you did this earlier in the episode.
Yeah, we set this up so we could pay it off later.
And so we need you to do that again. And so he does, in the nick of time, shoots the girl right in the eyeball. It combusts, and then they capture Korra, and Zahir says we failed.
Okay, so you skipped over just a lot. You're just like rambling on. So
that's the end of that.
hold on. Okay, their plan is to, since they can't get over the moat because they every time they sort of get up, they shoot lava out and it knocks them back. Lynn and Sue are going to go up and rappel down.
No, I said that.
Okay, but you didn't. You just glossed over it.
Doesn't need to be not glossed over.
And then Bolin is going to use his thing.
I did that.
Yeah, I understand. I'm slowing it down and explaining
check.
it. If you wanted to like jump in and add some detail as well, that'd be nice because I'm not just steamrolling you and just going.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so they're going to rappel down.
Our listeners don't actually care.
No, yeah, I know. You want to just end it?
Our lives?
Yeah, that's yeah, of course. What else would I
just
be talking
edit in
about?
2 crazy gunshots?
I'll edit the sound of our bodies swinging from nooses.
We're not apologetic to anybody who's
Or like,
themselves.
like a ceiling, like in Temple of Doom, when the guy gets hung from a ceiling fan, and it just sort of squeaks every time he sort of goes around because of the weight.
That'd be very difficult.
What would
to
be
hang
very
yourself from a
difficult?
ceiling fan. That ceiling fan has
he
to
didn't
be
do it on purpose.
extremely sturdy.
I think it was
No,
his.
the idea of being hung from a ceiling fan. That ceiling fan has to be extremely sturdy.
They don't make them like they used to.
They don't.
These are 1930s ceiling
I do
fans.
love that saying. My grandma would always say that they don't make them like they used to. And like her freezer that she has, she's one of those trunk freezers, and it honestly has lasted ever since I was a child.
Of course, it has.
But as soon as that goes out, she'll get a brand new one, and it will not last this long.
No, absolutely not.
I am now 35 years old, and it has lasted for as long as I've been alive, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, you're 35.
They don't. It's crazy to me that I'm 35. They just don't make it like they used to, though.
No.
Yeah, like kids these days. They're awful.
Exactly. They don't make those like they used to either.
They actually don't. It's no longer just a sex thing. They go into a science study, and they actually
Yes.
embryos.
Now, when you ask how did babies made, they say in a lab.
Storks are literally involved. There's a lab full of storks. And
What if we got to that point as a human race, where we
could enslave animals to do our bidding?
we basically just create all the folklore that you've heard? Like everything is exactly. What if the human race, the population, is like decimated, and there's only a small fraction left? And then over the course of 1,000 years, they lose all the culture and everything, and they just have Mother Goose in their storybook. And they're like, well, I guess this is how we have to live.
I dig it. There's storks making babies, and
Yeah.
there's wolves in the woods just living with bears, like 3 different bears. Like I love it. I dig it. I dig it. Highly intelligent animals.
Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so did we? Okay, at this point, they have captured Korra, right?
Yeah.
So their plan worked. Bolin does exactly what he needs to do. They get Korra, and then Zahir and them escape because he does like a ball of wind around them.
Somebody.
He like disappears.
I don't know how Zahir gets back in the group, in all honesty, because they're all in the center of the moat.
Well,
and then somebody whips him with the cable, grabs Zahir's leg, and pulls him out. And then they start fighting Zahir over here on the side.
no, because he flies up to try to stop. He has his glider, and he flies up to try to stop Lynn and Sue. And then she hits his glider with some metal or something.
Metal daggers or some nonsense.
Yeah, and he falls back down and lands in the circle again. But then he just does like a ball of wind around him, and then they disappear. And it cools the lava off, which is really cool as well.
I'm assuming.
Did they tunnel?
They tunneled. That's what I was going to say.
Why didn't they just do that in the first place?
Because they had Korra, and they were getting attacked and
they
stuff.
Could tunnel with Korra?
I don't know. Sometimes you don't think of things until you're
Only
angry.
one person can do the tunneling.
I don't know.
Yeah, but so this is the first half of the episode. And the second half is kind of a mystery thriller where it's more, how did Zahir get in? How did Zahir, Pli, Zongo, and Hachi get into our base? It was locked down.
So then their plan is to interrogate all the guards of the entire island of Zalfu.
Using Aoye.
One by one. Using our truth seer.
Aoye.
Aoye.
Because he can harness the power of the feet to see into the hearts of men, is what he says in this episode verbatim.
So it's basically like a little montage of all the guards and Varric for some reason being
Yeah, they interrogate Varric. I thought that was weird because he's not a guard.
Being interrogated by
is he?
A core group. I don't know.
He's the leader of the guards? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. But anyways, it's the guards and Varric, and then we get to this, and it's a montage, so we don't really see the individuals being interrogated until Varric shows up, and then Varric gets off scot-free, and then one guard shows up, and we actually see the entire interrogation. So immediately you're like, this is the bad guy.
Yeah, of course.
And then the guy denies everything, and you're kind of like, oh, is he the bad guy?
Well, we got a truther
and
over here.
And then they all leave, and they assume that this guard, whose name has been, shown, I don't know what his name is maybe the bad guy. Maybe he was conspiring. But Mako's not having it.
He's a true detective.
Mako says, this guy has been living here. He was born in Zaofu, because that's what the guard said.
He's 18 years old.
18 years old, and the not Red Lotus has been in prison for 13 years.
Who?
Not the Red Lotus. So
you mean
Zahir and friends.
Zahir, Pli, Zongo, and Hachi.
Yep, those ones. They've been in prison for 13 years. So how would a kid like this get tangled up with ruffians like those?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And Mako says there's something fishy. So they go to investigate someone else's house, who he thinks is the true criminal, and it is none other than
Alibaba.
And they investigate.
I think that's who was Aladdin's dad in Aladdin 2.
Was it Alibaba?
Because I think it was Aladdin 2, Prince of Thieves, right?
No, the second one was The Return of Jafar. The third one was King of Thieves.
King of Thieves, which is his father's Alibaba.
We're going to go with Alibaba for now,
yes,
until I watch tonight and find out.
Okay.
It's a really
Do you have it?
I have it on VHS. I have the first, second, and third one on VHS.
Great.
They are so good. If you had a VHS player,
I think the third one should be Return of Jafar, right? And then Alibaba and Aladdin could fight Jafar together.
I don't think Jafar has any say-so in the third one. I do like the second one.
That's what I'm saying. I think they should switch. And that way that Aladdin in the trilogy would be complete.
That way you get like a middle piece that's actually good, and the third piece that's, Jafar's back.
Yeah.
He actually wasn't dead. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I could dig that.
I go with that. So that's what I always watch them in order 1, 3, 2. That way you get that sort of feel.
That way I get my own.
It's my headcanon of Aladdin. Okay. So they go and check out Aoye's house. And things are, it's a normal house. He doesn't have anything nefarious going on. Until Mako, using his superb detection skills, notices that there's scuff marks on the floor by a bookshelf. And we all know what that means.
We've all seen early 50s dramas. It probably means that bookshelf slides.
Why don't they put felt or something underneath the bookshelf so it doesn't scuff out the floor?
Maybe that was the first secret bookshelf ever.
Maybe a rug.
They're just working on it.
Wheels that are hidden. Yeah, there you go.
That'd be smart.
Maybe
lift the bookshelf just a hair.
Yeah,
and put the wheels just sticking.
So you can't really tell.
That'd be smart.
Yeah. There you go.
Idiots.
But I mean, so they find this bookshelf and they go down and they're about to open the door at the bottom of the stairs when they hear a knock on the door. Or the door opening because it's Aoye and he owns the house.
And he doesn't knock on his own door because
No,
that's
of
stupid.
course not. So he comes in and they, instead of hiding behind the bookshelf,
That's what I would have done.
yes, they come out in front of the bookshelf so Aoye sees them, and then he interrogates them, which they cannot lie to him because he knows if you're telling the truth or not.
Yeah, no, they deny everything, though. And then Katara's like, Katora is just like, hey, listen, this is what we're actually here for. We're pretty sure you're a bad guy. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then throws up a steel wall and then takes off.
Well, I mean, not really.
And he says,
you have no idea the power. Or if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could ever know.
Thank you for that.
Is that what he says?
Something, sure.
If you strike me down now, I'll be with you until the day that you die.
And Korra's like, no, you won't. BT dubs, we came in here looking for stuff that might have incriminated you, and we didn't find anything. And then Aoiwe goes and looks behind the bookshelf, and he goes, thinks you did find something. And
Misa
then turns around and says, Misa out! And throws up the steel wall, and then runs, and then lights a bomb, and they all die. And that's the end of the episode, and we're outs.
That's not really the end of the episode.
Like a mic drop noise.
Because Lin Beifong says that that Korra should just go ahead and head off, and the police of the city will do their job. And for once, Su Yin's like, yeah, I think that's the best plan. Korra, just stay out of it. We'll take care of it. Until she goes behind her sister's back and says, hey, do you think you can take him out? Here's the keys to a Jeep.
To a Jeep.
Just a Jeep. It's just a Jeep.
I'm curious. I'm looking that up right now, see if Jeep is an actual...
So
was it
I
ever
looked it
a
up,
brand name?
And apparently it stood for, was it General? It was GP, which was like General Purpose Vehicle or something like that. So it was GP originally. And then there was a character in the Popeye episode called the Jeep. And so that's where the brand name Jeep came from, which is still odd.
Did you just Google that?
No, that was...
Behind my back.
No, it was during the episode.
Without consulting me.
I mean, during the episode.
Without consulting me.
Well, yes.
Okay.
I don't think I have to run by every Google search that I do.
I'd be concerned if you did.
Yes. So she hands them the keys to a Jeep. And I don't know why they need a Jeep, as they have Naga. And,
well, hey,
and
no,
an airship.
this is continuity. This is continuity. They needed Naga to sniff out Aoi. But... remember, not everyone could fit on Naga. That one episode,
but then
even though the episode
the other episode,
that, everybody could.
Yes. Okay, so it checks out. I stand corrected. So they get on their Jeep and they embark on their journey.
And that's credits.
Yeah, it is. Roll the credits. Let's do some trivia, Harley, and then we'll wrap this ep up.
Thank God.
The Terror Within was the last episode of Book 3, changed to debut on television. Oh.
Thank you for reading that completely incorrectly.
No, actually, I read it grammatically correctly. So
it's a title, though. They're capitalized. So
I understand that, but I didn't realize.
I get you're supposed to pause it at colon, but it's a title. So that should technically be.
I understand, but yeah, it should be quotes, right?
Yeah,
because the Terror Within is in quotes, so I'm correct. The Terror Within was the last episode of Book 3 Change to debut on television, as the remaining 5 episodes premiered online through several digital platforms before airing on Nicktoons during the week of October 6th, 2014.
I wonder if the Mexican government aired this one too.
No.
It said several digital platforms.
Nope.
Is the Mexican government a digital platform?
Yes.
Do we know?
I don't believe so. But yeah, we didn't talk about this. So apparently, like during this season, they decided not to show it on Nickelodeon, the television show, anymore. And it was online only.
I wonder if their ratings were going down and they needed to fill that slot.
I think so. I don't know.
Though it'd be weird for the ratings to go down in this season because maybe their ratings were already going down, and because this season I really do enjoy.
Yeah, it's good so far,
and I think it's mainly because of the villain. And I do love the villains, but I do think the first season so far has been the best season. It was really well done comparatively to the other 2 seasons. But the villain arguably is better in this season than it is the first and second one. And I think You could run a whole show of a villain. Honestly, you could. That's look at Thor. Thor wasn't one of the best Marvel films, but Loki stole the show, man.
Look at Suicide Squad. I mean, that entire movie was about villains. Lynn's use of this is the only episode in which Plea is seen generating normal fire, clearing up a question that we had on an earlier episode. She can firebend, in fact.
Just normal fire, though.
Which we did not see Combustion Man do.
Maybe which we think is just the product of the times. Maybe bending evolves.
You think so?
Yeah, like she can bend her air or her head. Her
maybe
brain thingy.
Maybe that mark on her forehead or on Combustion Man's forehead. Maybe he wasn't a firebender. Maybe he learned to do the combustion bending because of some training.
Maybe
that requires tattooing.
Maybe.
World may never know.
Who knows?
Lynn's use of the phrase "third-eyed freak" mirrors Katana's when she described Combustion Man in The Runaway.
Ooh, see the little runaway.
That was way too loud for you to do that ever again. This episode marks the first time that seismic sense is used by an earthbender in footwear, as all the previous uses of the technique involved being barefoot to increase their user's connection with the earth.
I did really like the scene where they go confront Asami's dad in that one episode.
And her
foot, her solar foot just disappears, and then she puts her foot down and does a seismic look.
Do you think that's just a mistake by the animators that they were supposed to do that, but
no, because it disappears. Like it's there, and then it's like
no, in this episode.
Oh, in this episode,
she didn't do it.
Maybe
I think
maybe they're just feeling lazy.
I wonder if it's in Goofs.
I don't know. Maybe we're the only ones that picked up on that.
No, well, it's in the trivia.
Maybe we're the only ones that picked up on that.
Other people saw it.
Maybe we're the only ones that
it's
picked
not
up
in the Goofs. I think that should be in the Goofs.
It looks like we're the only ones that picked up on that.
You think so? You want to change it? Should we have
say so over this entire thing now?
Yeah, we're definitely. Let's be the administrators of this entire wiki.
We should run the wiki fan.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's dead. I'm assuming the last comment was
3 years.
Yep, 3 years ago. 4 messages.
I wouldn't say quite dead. I would just say dying.
What are you talking about? The last comment was 3 years
ago? It's not
ago?
entirely... Okay, fine. It's not entirely decomposed, but it's getting there.
Okay. Is that it? Can we please be done?
That's the last of the trivia.
I think so. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you are, in fact, still listening at this point.
A special thanks to you.
Yes. Yeah. To all of you who are listening, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You specifically. If you want to check us out on Twitter, that's @boysintheberg, or shoot us an email with boysintheiceberg@gmail.com. As always, I've been Caleb Bader.
And everybody else, I hope you had a great Christmas. And everybody, all those other people, hope you had a great Hanukkah. And the ongoing, hope you have a great Kwanzaa. And I think that's the 3 major ones, right?
No, Kwanzaa was invented by a wife-beating leftist, so I don't know.
Really?
Yep. He was convicted of, what do you call that? I don't think it was spousal abuse, but it was definitely beating up women.
I think it's domestic abuse?
Well, I don't know if they were living with him. I know it's just he beat some women. So,
whoa, and he's like, I'm going to beat women and then create Kwanzaa.
Yes.
In the same hand. Like, that's what I did.
He beat women with a menorah, or whatever they call it in Kwanzaa.
Well, all right. Happy belated Hanukkah. Happy belated Christmas.
And to all of you out there,
to all of you who
believe
in wife-beating Kwanzaa.
I didn't say wife. Don't. I never said
spouse
wife.
Weeding?
Spouse weeding?
Spouse beating.
I weeded my spouse out there.
one time. All right, anyways, that'll do it for us.
Yeah, we've been the Boys in the Iceberg. We'll see you here next week.